Just so we know who you are, can you tell us your full name and where you're born?
Okay. My full name is H. Russell Smith. I was born in a farm in Ohio near Columbus.
What year? What year were you born?
1914.
Wow.
Came to California in 1919.
Did you know your grandparents very well?
Yes. The grandparents were here and living here in Whittier, here in California. Had moved out here from Ohio.
What kind of business or trade were they into?
My grandparents?
Yes.
No, they weren't any. They were old Quaker family. My grandmother is a Quaker minister, as I can recall.
Wow.
But no, they came out here. Their daughter, my father's sister, was married to Dr. Tebbets, who was a practicing doctor in Whittier, and that's why they came out to their house, and then we built a house or bought a house on the street opposite theirs, and the whole history of Whittier and Whittier College was all wrapped up in the family, the founding fathers.
Fantastic. So they were one of the settlers in here.
Yeah.
Now your parents, how did your parents meet?
Well, my mother was in a neighboring farm across the street, or across the river, and they met there in Ohio, in the farm.
What town was it close to?
Columbus.
Columbus. Wow. And
Selma, Ohio is the closest, and nobody ever heard of Selma. But this was a family farm that had been in the family several generations.
how many brothers and sisters did you have?
Did I have? I have two brothers and two sisters. That's right.
And were you the oldest or in the middle? Or?
They were in the middle. I was the middle.
Now, what brought your family to California?
My father, as a farmer, had been out here. He went to Earlham College, and he came out to Whittier, out to California during his college years, and he was at Berkeley, and he resolved, boy, someday I'm going to sell the farm and get out to California. So that's how it was generated.
He liked it out here.
He liked California, and my sister was here, married to the doctor, in a Quaker town of Whittier. So all fell together. The neighbors and all said, "You're selling your hot party for selling your grant of." Can't remember the words, but anyway, they came out here to California together, and that's how we follow them.
What kind of crops did they raise back there?
Where? What did the farm? My farm? Oh, it was a big farm. So they had cattle as well as crops of various descriptions.
Now, when you came to California, do you remember the first impression when you got here?
Did I remember?
Do you remember what it was like when you moved to California?
Pretty well, yeah. My father was a farmer, but he took up citrus ranching, and I was involved with him in that. And we knew the area very well after living in it, and made a home here very quickly. During my high school years, I left Whittier. Dad bought a larger farm, ranch, down east of San Diego, and so I went down. I moved down there with him, and then I graduated from Grossmont High School. My classmates at Whittier High School. Richard Nixon was one of them, and from high school, I went to Pomona College. My dad had lost the farm by that time. He broke and the banks were closing. So he told me, I can't send you to college, so you have to be on your own. So I said, well, I can work. And then I applied to 3 different schools, colleges, and I was granted first a scholarship at one of them. So on the way out there, we were stopped at Pomona, told them we're going to withdraw because I've got the scholarship to the other college. They said, wait a minute. They said there was a scholarship committee was meeting at that very moment, so I should stand by. So I said, I'll stand by, but Pomona's too wealthy to me. I can't afford to go here. So there was a man sitting there, and after the dean went back into the meeting, he said, if you get the scholarship, I'll make you a deal. He said, I'm a trustee of the college, and I have a construction business here in town, and very interested in the college and its students. So if I'll make you a deal, if you get the scholarship, I'll give you a job. You can live in my sawmill, and there's a cottage there you could move into, and then you can live there and you can work with me, digging ditches and so forth, and get you started. So that's what happened.
When you were going into college, did you have dreams of what you wanted to do?
I was studying economics and political science.
So did you have an idea of you want to be a businessman, or did you have an idea of what you...
Not at that point of the game. Later it developed that what I wanted was to find a place where I would be in a small business I might be able to acquire and be part of. But that was a long way down the road. I left college. I went to work in investment banking business in New York.
What year was that?
36.
So was it after the big depression? Well, you were right in the middle of the depression, really.
Yeah, I was in the middle of depression. I was going to college and so forth. It was all deep college, deep depression.
Do you remember those days? Was it?
Oh, very much so.
Do you remember hobos? Seeing hobos or anything like that?
Oh, I don't remember any detail like that. No.
Now, when did you meet John Myers?
I met John Myers through his wife. His wife was a classmate of mine at Pomona, and one that I've had very high regard for. And she married John, and I met John through her.
And her name was Lucia.
Lucia, Russia. So we were very close together. And later on, when Lucia died, John and I would just sit together and commiserate about Lucia for hours on end. He had a great heart, and took it very hard.
Do you remember the first time you met him? What did he look like in those days? And was he a tall guy or?
John Myers, yeah, he's a very tall guy. Here he is, a picture of him too. This doesn't take, this is a plane. But he was a member of the Sunset Club, and he and I sat together. We'd got a rapport, and then because of ages, we were seated together every meeting of the Sunset Club, and he was about 95 at the time, and I was 90, maybe 3 or 4 years of difference. And do
you remember when they first got together? Was that when he was doing the test pilot days? Was that when they first got married?
When they first got married, yeah. He'd been beyond the